Hey, 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 hey. Welcome back to the Contingent on You Listening podcast. My name is Steve Pletz, here with my co-host.
What's going on, everyone?
Contingent on You Listening podcast, a podcast sponsored by Century 21 Affiliated, talking all things real estate for consumers, for buyers, for sellers, for agents. Today, super excited to have JoAnne Krause from Century 21 Affiliated, head honcho of the Krause team.
Yep.
And JoAnne, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, JoAnne.
Some would say head honcho. You'll have to ask Tamara about that.
We'll have to ask your team. So give us a little background. I know you've been with the company a long time. Real briefly, getting into real estate and kind of your start, and just jump ahead to then what does the team look like right now?
Sure. My start was I had a house to sell. I had a full-time job. I was a speech pathologist for the school system. And because I had a house to sell, 2 kids to raise, I had to make a decision. Do I open up a clinic, a speech path clinic, or do something else to make, a higher salary? And at that point, I decided to go into real estate part-time. I worked part-time for many years until I established, a clientele. And then one day I phased out of it.
I love it.
Nice.
I love it. And so what year was that approximately?
It was about 20 years ago.
Okay. And so now today we're talking about mentorship, like working with coaches, those kinds of things.
Yes.
And so let me ask you, to begin as a new agent, how quickly did you step into a mentorship program? How did you seek that out? Tell me the beginning of there.
I think most people just jump in. We didn't have companies like Century 21 Affiliated who had programs for teaching new agents. So I just dug in.
They're giving me the signal, just so you know, that you be careful here we don't really have that great a table for our guests, so just be aware on the sound.
Oh, don't bang?
The bangs.
Don't bang too hard.
All right.
But yeah, just wondering about the mentoring side. So keep going. Sorry to interrupt you
Right.
there.
So I took classes and I went to real estate seminars. I started the Brian Buffini coaching program, and then I started going to everything that new agents go through. You just go to everything, and you learn a lot. But those were classes. They weren't what I call real coaching.
Did you sign up for the coaching through Buffini at that time?
I did.
Okay, so
I did.
So as a brand new agent, you made an investment. I mean, no matter when it was, it's not cheap. Any coaching isn't cheap.
Correct.
And yes, I hear them when they say you're investing in yourself. But at the time, raising a couple of kids, part-time having a real job that's W-2'd, and you're making a leap, and you decided, you know what, if I'm going to do this, let me have somebody to at least coach me along a little bit. And the setup there is they set you up with a coach, yes?
Yes.
And
I did that for a few years. I also, Tamara, my daughter, got into real estate, and I gifted her coaching for several years through Buffini.
I like it.
And it was good.
Tell me about that program. Of course, there's a lot of different options for agents. What did you like best about that program as opposed to others? Or have you done others?
I have not done others.
Okay, so strictly...
up to that point, I hadn't. It was really a referral-based business, and that's the way I worked anyway. So it was a good match for me.
Yeah.
But I would say that I probably only listened maybe 25% of the time. I really wasn't paying attention. It was at that point in my life when I thought I knew everything, so I just kind of did it my way.
I love it. It's so good.
But I admit to that.
Don't worry, I only listen to Isaiah about 10% of the time.
Right.
So, so fast forward to today. So today now you have a team which is composed of your daughter and another agent.
Burns, can't forget about good old Burns.
And do you still do any coaching? Do they do any coaching? Or is it kind of, hey, we took the time period to learn it, now we kind of know the basics, any market we're going to run with it.
I've had a lot of coaches along the way, and we do coaching right now as a group. So we've hired the Dan Beer coaching team.
I like it.
And I have one specific coach who talks to us once a week, and it's worked out very, very well.
I like it.
What are we looking at on the weekly topics?
Everything. This coach is a realtor.
Okay.
She's a speaker. She's head of a team. She works out of Canada, so it doesn't matter where you're from. It's all the same.
Yeah.
She's to the point. It's a half hour
I like it.
And
Every week.
every week.
So yeah, so another thing I like is it's not long.
Right.
It's like, hey,
No.
let's get to the point.
Yeah.
Right. And she will send us materials every time. So
Good.
I found that the current coaching that we have to be very valuable.
The investment's there and you're getting it.
The investment's there.
So this is valuable because JoAnne. So since I have been part of Affiliated, so Century 21 Affiliated, I started in 2005. So now I'm working on year 18. You have always been, you and your team have always consistently been in the top 21. I mean, you obviously know how to make your way through a transaction. You know how to lead generate. You know how to follow up, et cetera, et cetera. What's powerful to me is even as a top producing team, I mean, they just came out with the top 21 numbers. I'm going to get the number wrong, but I'm going to say you're number
She's
7 or 8.
Yeah, she's top 10.
Certainly top 10, that you still find value in coaching. And so my question to you, jump in.
Okay. So I have had a lot, and I've had time to think about this.
Oh, I love it.
My coaching began with my parents,
Oh, yes.
as all of you,
Right.
probably the same. When my dad was an engineer with International Harvester, and Harvester went under, he lost his pension. So he had no money. And I got from that you shouldn't depend upon one source
Yeah.
for income. So I thought right away that as a single mom, I would invest in property and I would diversify.
Good for you.
Got a great CPA, and that's one of my coaching recommendations to anyone is to find someone who's been in the business a while, who handles all kinds of portfolios, from realtors to wealthy entrepreneurs to football players. And then because they have the experience, they'll be able to tell you what to do with your money, where to put it, and how to lead yourself to wealth.
Yeah, here's the blueprint to success that I've seen if I'm a CPA. Here's the blueprint of what I'm seeing other people do, and these people have a ton of money. Maybe you should do the same kind of thing. I like it
good.
a lot.
From the beginning, I was teaching school when my CPA said, go over to that Schwab office. And we have a Schwab office right here
Right.
in our, in our complex. And I walked in one day, this was 15 years ago, and he said, let's put some money in Amazon,
Yeah.
Okay.
and that was free advice.
Yeah.
So I would go in with my commission checks and just put some money in Amazon. And that he's been a coach for 15 years, and he's led me wisely. He works with my CPA and developing what I should do at the end of the year, because as a realtor, we're independent contractors.
Right.
What do we need to do to make sure that we have a pension plan?
It's so fantastic because certainly what I'm hearing is that you're, rather than waiting until you have enough of whatever it is and then beginning, like the idea being that you're investing not just monetarily, certainly you are, but you're also, let me surround myself with the professionals as a young woman.
Absolutely.
So that as I age, I'm already out in front of this. Like we've had attorneys and estate attorneys, financial planners. We've had a few of these different types of people in here. And I know that for many of our viewers, and for us included, sometimes it feels like, well, I'm not there yet. So why don't I, if I get $10,000 more, then I'll do X. Then I'll hire a CPA. And what I'm hearing from you, JoAnne, is you got to twist it. It's all backwards. You need to start with the professionals in place.
Start with the best.
Right.
If you're going to get coached by someone in your company, go to the highest guy on the ladder and ask that person to coach you.
Yes. Yeah.
Just don't ask anybody. You want to go to the people who have the answers and who can tell you from experience what to do.
And so it sounds like in the coaching with this Canadian, the Daniel Beer team, that coaching that's happening there, the value it's not just accountability. What you're getting are actual ideas. You're getting things of like, hey, what can we do to stay ahead of the wave as the market adjusts? Is that accurate?
And that's correct. But that's only one coaching program that I've been
How many are you in?
Yeah.
So there's another one, and it's more life coaching, which has
Okay.
been probably the most valuable coaching I've ever received in my life. And I'm only recently doing these things because my kids are grown. I have some excess funds.
Yeah.
Generally, the type of coaching is tax deductible. It's business coaching. So I did reach out to someone that I met on Facebook, and I said, "What you're saying sounds good to me, and I want to sign up for this." So professional coaching is not cheap. I want
Right.
you to know it's
Yeah.
about $2,000 a month.
Yeah. It's
Okay,
like,
for maybe 3 hours worth of talk.
and then that's the Canadian woman. That's the
No,
No,
that's the
different one.
This is what you're talking about here. Professional coaching being life coaching.
life coaching is. They're both about $2,000 a month.
I love it. And so here's my big takeaway from that is I always poo-poo the idea for Isaiah and anybody else like that social media, blah, blah, blah. You're the proof that you saw this person online. You probably followed them. I'm going to take some guesses here for a fair amount of time, saw their content.
Well, they only had one post, but I knew them from their prior profession.
I got you.
So,
you already had
they're a
relationship.
name in town.
I got you.
Okay.
So yeah,
Right.
I like it.
Something spoke to me and said, "JoAnne, it's you're at a different point in life. How do you want to shape your life moving forward?" And the information has been powerful.
How long have you been doing that?
I did it for a year. You have to make a year commitment.
Okay.
But then I gifted that to my son and I gifted it to my adult daughter. So they're taking part. And honestly, as a mother, it's the most important. It's the best gift I've ever given them.
Oh, JoAnne, sorry. The hands.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let her enjoy that. Well,
You know what? You get a pass. Everyone else is
All
not.
right.
All right.
Thank you.
But it's very valuable to hear that you are seeking growth.
Yes.
And I feel like, not knowing you super well, but certainly having some interactions at Centurion events, et cetera, and certainly talking to you now, that is the general theme that I take away, is that for where you are and where you have been, the focus has always been growth, personal growth, business growth, the growth of those around you, those closest to you, impact, and those kinds of things. That's phenomenal, and I think it's a testament to the reason that you've had in one small corner residential real estate sales success is probably because of that mindset. Tell me, let's talk a little bit about that mindset. How if you're focused on growth, where do you, it's going to be hard for me to construct this question, but I guess how can someone else that is starting out, or if you were talking to yourself 10 years ago, what would be some things that person should be ready for or take away, or these kinds of things? Does my question kind of make sense?
Kind of
Sure. I would say look for a coach, a free coach. I mean, if somebody were to ask me, "JoAnne, will you coach me?" I would. I mean, go to people who are busy, who have been successful, and ask them if they would coach you.
And I
An
wanna-
hour a week is nothing, and we have a lot to contribute.
And I want to touch on earlier what you were talking about, like when it came to Steve, you're like, Steve, you're my coach because I've never done a podcast before. And then even going back to when you walked into the Schwab office, like you have that mindset already of, hey, someone's an expert in this field. I will be open-minded to see them as that coach mentorship role if I, click with them and whatnot. And you don't let ego get in the way.
that
It's very
humility.
much, you're very much able to adapt to that, which is awesome.
Right.
It's
I think
important.
one of the things is you just have to be positive and open, and know that when the fit is not right, you're not obligated to stay with it. Does that make sense?
No, it's good.
Yeah.
Sometimes people feel peer pressure to stay because they don't want to hurt feelings, but you got to be honest with yourself.
Yeah. So now talk to me on the team and the
Yes.
growth of the team. When did it become apparent that you? I mean, I know your daughter got into the business. What year was that?
Let's see. She was in Boston College, so she got her license while she was in college.
Okay.
Cool.
And then she moved to California and just transferred, started work in. But I really didn't have to mentor her. She's pretty much, we do business in different ways, and she's very successful. She's more social than I am, and both of you know that.
Yeah. Yes.
Shout out to Tamara Krause.
Yay.
And how is that? How is that working with your daughter?
It's great. We don't, people think I've given Tamara leads. She has never gotten a referral from me. The girl has done it on her own.
Nice.
Burns
Mom's not going to help her out at all?
she doesn't need my help.
I love it.
And Burns is the same way. We don't do a referral thing. Somebody has to be a team lead. It could be any one of us.
Right.
So I just happen to be it because I probably have more time. They're raising children. So
and so if you're not providing them with leads, what's the value that they find?
Fun. Honestly, it's people to talk to. We talk to each other. The three of us are engaged all day long. Funny things that happen, questions, answers. We text each other all day long. If there's a funny event, we will meet. We'll have team meets maybe 3 times a month, and they'll usually be over lunch and a glass of wine or 2.
It. Yeah.
And we get a lot done during that period of time. But it's all engaging. It's all fun, and that's pretty much the reason we have the team.
The Krause group has that chemistry, and you guys have that
Krause
reputation.
Team. The Krause team.
That's what I said. Krause team. Oh, did I say group?
You said
I'm so sorry. Krause team. You guys were a group for the past 4 or 5 years. I was here. I'm sorry.
But we are, but we're not.
Yes.
It's not like a formalized team. It's a group of people who like to be together.
Yeah.
And we encourage each other.
I'm sure it's adapted. I'm sure at the beginning you were the experienced, seasoned one, and you had newer agents, certainly driven.
Yes,
but at the beginning,
because Burns was without. He just got his license.
Yeah, and so teaching them about. You talk about mentorship and coaching. I'm sure that at the beginning you probably started in that kind of role, and it's adapted to now. Probably you guys are all equals.
Oh, definitely there. Yeah.
It's a very similar setup to Todd Romano and Associates. That is, hey, we may call ourselves a team, we may call ourselves a group, but in actuality, we're independent agents. They have their own business. I have my own business. There's levels of built-in accountability. There's levels of built-in, hey, I've run into this. Can we talk this out? Those kinds of things. Are you guys looking to? What's the 5-year, 10-year plan with the Krause team?
I don't. I think if the right fit came along, it would be great. We would add another person, but it has to be the fit is more important than
absolutely
anything else.
Yeah,
I love it. It's so good. Well, thank you for being here. This really is so fantastic, and it's valuable for me to see. You asked me before we went on air, Steve, why do you do this? Yeah. And the answer is to get into these conversations like this, where it allows me to personally understand somebody that has done business at a high level, and I so admire and respect your mindset, the mindset of growth, personal, business-wise, financial, et cetera, let me work with a professional. Let me find whether that's a CPA or a financial planner or whatever it may be.
Podcaster.
And a podcaster. Right. And I love the idea of also pursuing that on the personal side.
Yeah.
I will tell you, JoAnne, we've had a lot of guests in here, a lot of people that do business in a great way. Nobody, check my math here, I don't think anybody has talked about any kind of personal coaching, personal growth. And I think that that's an opportunity that's missed for so many of us, is that we get this tunnel vision on listing and selling houses that sometimes we forget about what it takes to make me personally better.
The bigger picture.
The bigger picture. It's fantastic. And so thank you for being here and joining us on another Contingent on You Listening podcast. We hope that you'll go through some personal growth. So join us, follow us. There'll be more to come, hopefully.
100%. And don't forget, subscribe, share. JoAnne's contact information will be in the description. So if you have any questions for her, please feel free to reach out. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.